Hey guys, welcome back to Ouch Mountain. Today we're back on the sawmill working on a special project, so y'all stay with us. So today we're working on a special project. We have a young couple that's friends of ours that are moving into a brand new house, and they've asked us to saw them a couple of nice mantles for a couple of fireplaces in their new house. So we're excited to do that. We're a little nervous, but I guess the pressure's on to make something really nice for them, so we're gonna work on that today. So what they've asked for are 2 oak mantles that are 8 by 8 by 54 inches long. So we have this big chunk right here that we're gonna try to get one of those out of. And it's a great big red oak that we cut recently, and we'll see what we can do with it. So before we get started, I'm gonna change the blade on the sawmill. We've got a lot of use out of this one. It's getting a little dull, and I want a nice clean cut for these mantles. So with a new blade out of the box, we're going to install it on the sawmill and get this show on the road. So this chunk was a pretty good sized tree. It's only half of it. The diameter is about 21 inches across. I think we can get a nice 8 by 8 out of this. This looks like it's gonna be really nice. We get the sawdust off.
Ooh, that's pretty.
It's got a lot of nice grain in it. Yeah. So 54 inches is gonna be right in there. So we may have to try to get our 8 inches kind of out of this center. Oh yeah, we got plenty of room. We got like 11 inches there. So if we get it kind of out of this space, I think we make that work. So we were really trying to get an 8 by 8 out of this oak log. But as you can see here, it's got a couple of gashes. When we flipped it over, we noticed these gashes. These are probably from the grapple when we were moving around when we first cut it. So we're going to try to take one more 1/2 inch off the top or off the bottom of this log, see what it looks like. This may not work out, so we may have to keep looking for another log, but we're going to give this one more try. So we are working on these mantles for our friends, and the first piece we had the other night was we working on it is a beautiful oak. It's a beautiful piece of wood, but as we got into it and worked it up, I don't really think it's quite the dimensions they're going to want. So we're going to set that one aside, go back into the woods. We've got a couple of oaks right here next to our driveway, next to the house. We're going to pull those up, see if we can get a couple of nice mantles out of those pieces. So we're going to pull those up and get started.
So it is a little grown up. We've had some trouble with the little tractor and haven't been able to put the bush hog on it, and you can tell.
So this is the log that we're going to pull out of here. This big oak tree fell several months ago in a windstorm. It just broke off the stump, and so it is a really long but very straight oak tree. We're going to try to get at least a couple mantles out of this. We're going to drag it out as a long piece, then cut it up into some sections that we can put on the sawmill. There's 19, there's 20, just short of this tree. I don't know if we can clear the tree at 20 though.
All right, we're gonna try to roll this thing out of here. So we thought that the log was cut all the way in two, but apparently there was a little bit hanging on, so we're gonna go ahead and cut that. So we, or maybe I should say, so Jason is going to try and roll this log out so we can put it to the back of the tractor. It may start coming our way, so we may have to move kind of fast. It's coming. We've gotten a little hung up on this little tree. It's actually something that's on the ground, and we had to use a saw to cut that since it's laying right on the ground. So we're going to get the tractor and try and pull this over. Here goes. You want me to tighten that up?
I ought to get the short one because it would be good, but
it's too short. We're going to try that. So we're going to pull this out and we can take a better look at it when we're on a little flatter ground. We aren't able to get a real good angle on that chain, but we're hoping it'll pull it just a little bit before the chain comes off. Not too optimistic about that. Yeah. All right, let's try it. Here we go. Again. So we made it up out of the holler with that. Now we gotta see how straight it is.
So there's a little bit of a crook in the middle of this log. There's pretty good. 6. These mantles will probably be between 5 and 6 feet. I think we can get everything we want to out of this log. It's got a crook in the middle. I think we can make that work.
So how long are you going to cut that for this first mantle?
I'm going to cut it a little bit more than 60 inches, maybe like 64, which is right here.
Yeah.
And they give us a little extra breathing room to cut it. And the log itself kind of has a large bell on it, and then it kind of gets smaller right about right here. So I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Putting these forks on the bucket instead of the grapple because I want to be a little bit more careful picking up these mantel pieces. I don't want to scar them up. The grapple with a little pincher, it might scar those up. So we're going to be a little bit more delicate with them, and that's why we're going to use these forks.
You know what forks means? That means it's back to the heavy lifting.
There you go.
Oh.
Come on, back up a little bit. There you go. Where is you? So after I cut off the end of it right here, we figured out that it's got a little bit of rot right here on the end of it. So I don't think this is going to work. So we're going to have to put this aside and use it for firewood probably and go get another piece. So we're back here on this log and we have a little bit of rot on this end, and I think I'm going to lift it up with the forks and start cutting some chunks off of it until we get to really solid wood, and then from there we'll see what we got for mantle left.
So we have misplaced one of our cant hooks, and you know that we use those all the time. So if you happen to see them in one of our videos, let us know where they're hiding. So I'm sure that we've set them down somewhere crazy. But anyway, that's why we're doing some of this by hand today. think plan B is to start from the other end and see what we got.
So I think this end is solid, so we should be able to get something out of this chunk right here. There.
Okay.
If we can cut it right there.
I'd cut a little bit more than that. I think they need 54. I'd go past this knot down here and just see what you got.
It's about 64.
Let's cut it there, see what it looks like. So that log has quickly evaporated. Just don't need to go off the other side. Okay. Do we have 8 inches all the way down through there?
I think we do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're ready to flip it.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
It is pretty. Just have to let it dry out some. After several attempts, we finally have one really good mantel. This is a very nice oak piece. It turned out really nice. We're going to put it inside the barn, let it start really drying out. Maybe even put some end sealer on it so it doesn't check. But this one turned out nice.
I didn't think it'd be that heavy. Let me get this so you don't skip it.
I think the tractor kind of sit down. So this log is the middle log out of that, what we call the water oak. If you remember that episode from a few months ago where we cut the tree and water poured out of the end of it because it was hollow on one end, we call that one the water oak. So this is the middle log out of it. I think it's in very good shape. It's long enough that we're going to cut it in half and try to get one mantelpiece out of each half. So we're going to roll it onto the bed of the sawmill and start cutting and see what we get. So it's a little over 10 feet long. Here about 5'3", 5'4". I'm gonna cut it in half, and we'll saw one half, get that off the sawmill, then come down and cut the other half.
That's pretty.
So this piece turned out really, really nice. All four sides look really good, pretty clear. Man, this one turned out really nice. This is a nice piece of oak. So this is the second log that we got on the sawmill. We cut it in half. This is the second one. The first one turned out really nice. So I'm very optimistic we can get a really nice mantel out of this one and make our friends really happy.
Woo-wee, that is a beast.
I think these turned out nice. I think they'll start drying. Hopefully they'll be good.
No, not really.
Drop it.
Sweet.
So today we've cut 3 oak mantles for our friends. We have one already in the barn and stickered. We've cut these 2. We're going to take those in the barn and sticker them too. They'll be drying out, and we'll be waiting for them to call us to say the house is ready. I hope they have plenty of support for these. These are extremely heavy. These 8x8 oak chunks are very heavy, but they're very nice. They turn out really good. So we'll be ready whenever they call. If you like watching our videos, hit the subscribe button, click the like button, send us some comments, and share it with a friend. And we'll see you next time on Ouch Mountain.